Good afternoon everyone. I am Rahul Kumar, a research scholar in Department of Environmental Science, and today we will discuss about continental drift theory, seafloor spreading and plate tectonics. The theory of continental drift. Alfred Wegener in 1912 proposed that a large supercontinent Pangaea split into smaller fragments about 200 to 300 million years ago, and these then drifted apart to form the present arrangement of continents. He had no satisfactory mechanism to offer, but appealed to a less dense continent floating and drifting over a more dense oceanic crust like icebergs in the ocean. Means Alfred Wegener proposed that the 7 continents were a single continent 200 to 300 million years ago, and later they spread it apart from each other, and now they are in the locations at present where 7 different continents are available. Most geologists were highly doubtful and the idea wasn't widely accepted. Wegener's interpretation about the Pangaea was that this was the whole Pangaea and these were the different continents which spread it after the tectonic movement. Pangaea was a supercontinent that existed during the late Paleozoic and early Mesozoic eras. It assembled from the earlier continental units of Gondwana, Euramerica and Siberia during the Carboniferous approximately 335 million years ago and began to break about 200 million years ago. It then broke into 2 continental masses, Laurasia and Gondwana land, with a shallow tropical sea between them, which is Tethys. This is how Wegener thought the continent moved over the last 200 million years ago. You can see this from the diagram. That Pangaea was divided into 2 parts, Laurasia and Gondwana land, which then spread it from each other, and then now the arrangement is like North America, Europe, Africa, India, South America, Antarctica and Australia, which then again shifted, and this is the current arrangement of the continents. Jigsaw fits. When we fit the continents of Africa and South America back together, we find that the similar rock types extend from one continent to other. The rocks are also the same age. So it can be concluded that both the continents were once a part of single continent. Means when we connect South America and Africa in the map, world map, we will see that there is a jigsaw fit. They fit it with each other, and the rocks found in South America and Africa are same. Apparent affinity of physical features. South America and Africa seem to be fit with each other, especially the bulge of Brazil fit into the Gulf of Guinea, and Greenland seems to fit in well with Ellesmere and Baffin Islands. The east coast of India, Madagascar and Africa seem to have been joined. North and South America on one side and Africa and Europe on the other side along the mid-Atlantic range. You can see it clearly from this that if, as you can see from here, the North American fits with the upper part of Africa and South America fits with the southernmost part of Africa, and the Greenland fits with the Europe. Distribution of Mesosaurus. Mesosaurus was a small reptile that lived around 250 million years ago. Fossils of Mesosaurus were found on the both sides of Atlantic in South America and Africa region. If we can see clearly that Mesosaurus was a small reptile which was found in the South America as well as the Africa. How it is possible that the same species are found in 2 continents and there is a gap of Atlantic Ocean in between them? So it can be concluded that they were. Distribution of other reptiles and the plants. Similar fossils, reptiles and plants are found on the different continents. How could they have crossed the oceans? The reason they didn't. The continents was part of a same landmass about 200 to 300 billion years ago. Means that many reptiles and plants were found on the different continents. How can they move from one continent to another continent? So it can be concluded that both the continents were part of a single continent. Distribution of fossils. The observations that lemurs occur in India, Madagascar and Africa lets us consider a continuous landmass Lemuria, making these 3 landmasses. Mesosaurus was a small reptile adapted to shallow brackish water. The skeleton of which are found only in South Africa and irregular formations of Brazil. The 2 localities presently are 4,800 km apart with an ocean in between them. This was discussed by us earlier, and this lemurs means langurs, जो कि इंडिया में पाए जाते हैं, मेडागास्कर में पाए जाते हैं और अफ्रीका में पाए जाते हैं. तो ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है कि वो एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पर ट्रैवल करके गए हो, क्योंकि इनके रीजन बहुत ज्यादा गहरा है ओशंस का भी. तो हम इसको कंक्लूड कर सकते हैं कि ये एक सिंगल लैंडमास का पार्ट थे. आर्गुमेंट्स फेवरिंग कॉन्टिनेंटल थ्योरी. Fit of continents. As we jigsaw fit, the South America will fit into Africa, the upper part of Africa will fit with the North America, Greenland will fit with Africa, Europe. So this can be an argument that favors it. Rocks of same age and similar characteristics on the different continents. Same type of rock are found on the different continents. Distribution of similar plants and animals on different continents. How did they cross the oceans? How did the plants and animals which were found on the different continents were of the same type? So these all three can agree with the argument that the continent drift theory is true. Wagner's conclusions. The continents have drifted over the past 300 million years to their present positions. Not a very popular idea at the time. Drawbacks of continental drift theory. Wagner failed to explain why the continents drift began only in Mesozoic era and not before. The theory doesn't take the oceans into consideration. It didn't talk about the movement of the ocean or sea floor spreading. It only discussed about the continental drift. Proofs heavily depend on the assumptions and are very general in nature. There is no scientific proof, only assumptions were there that it will jigsaw fit or the plants were found on two continents were part of a single landmass. Forces like tidal currents and gravity are too weak to able to move the continents. The tidal currents are not that much strong that they can move a large landmass. Modern theories accept the existence of Pangea and related landmass but give a different explanation to the causes of drift. Today the modern theory agrees with the Pangea but they give different arguments to prove it. Convectional current theory, tectonics movement. Arthur Holmes in 1930 discovered the possibility of convection currents in the mantle. These currents are generated due to the radioactive elements causing thermal differences in the mantle. So we can see that in the internal structure of Earth, here is mantle which is in form of a liquid. So there is a continuous movement in the magma inside mantle, and due to that movement, there is a continent's drift as the landmass moves. Mapping of the ocean floor. Detailed research during World Wars revealed that the ocean floor is not just a vast plain, but it is full of relief with mountain ranges and deep trenches. There are many mountain ranges which are found in the oceans and deep trenches like Mariana Trench, which is the largest trench in the world. The mid-oceanic ridges were found to be the most active in terms of volcanic eruptions. The mid-oceanic ridges are found where there is a tectonic plate movements and there is a ridge is formed, and this area is most commonly famous for the volcanic eruptions like the Ring of Fire in the Pacific Ocean. The dating of the rocks from the oceanic crust revealed the fact that the latter is much younger than the continental areas. Rocks on the ocean floor are much younger than the continents. This means that the sea floor are continuously moving and the rock found on the sea floor are younger as compared to the continental rocks. Rocks on the either side of the crest of oceanic ridges and have equidistant locations from the crest were found to have remarkable similarities both in terms of constituents and their edges. Like this is an edge, and both the rocks this side and this side have the same features, which proves that there is a movement. Convectional current theory. According to this theory, the intense heat generated by the radioactive substances in the mantle 100 to 2900 km below the Earth's surface seeks a path to escape and give rise to the formation of convection currents in the mantle. Due to the radioactive substances, there is a movement in the mantle and which wants to escape, and it gives the formation to the convection currents and which moves the landmass. Wherever rising limbs of these currents meet, oceanic ridges are formed on the sea floor, and wherever the failing limbs meet, trenches are formed. This means wherever these currents meet, they will form a ridge, and wherever they go apart, there will be a trench. The process of seafloor spreading. The mid-oceanic ridges is the region where the new oceanic crust is created, and the oceanic crust is composed of rocks that move away from the ridge as new crust is formed. So, ridges are the part where the new oceanic crust is formed. When the magma comes out from the ocean, this will create like volcanoes inside the sea, and this will let down like this, and the new rocks were formed, and this is called the new oceanic crust. The formation of the new crust is due to the rising of molten material magma from the mantle by convection fronts. Due to the movement of molten materials in the mantle, this will create a rise to the new crust. When the molten magma reaches the oceanic crust, it pulls and pushes away the existing rocks from the ridge equally in the both directions. When it comes out from the Earth's surface, it will equally distribute the both sides magma. A younger oceanic crust is then formed, causing the spread of oceanic floor. The new rock is dense but not as dense as the old rock that moves away from the ridge. As the rock moves further, it becomes colder and denser until it reaches the oceanic crust and continues spreading. It is believed that the successive movement of the rocks from the ridge progressively increases the oceanic depth and have greater depth in the oceanic trenches. This is the process of seafloor spreading. This magma, when comes out from the Earth's surface, it will go up and then it will give rise to the magma to come out from the ocean, and it will go both sides. This and their new rocks will be formed, and the old rocks will be moved apart. So these rocks, new rocks, are less denser than the old rocks. This is the feature. This is the new crust where the magma comes out from the surface, and this is the older crust which is apart from it. Evidence of seafloor spreading. Harry has hypothesis about the seafloor spreading, had collected several pieces of evidence to support the theory. This evidence was from the investigations of molten materials, seafloor drilling, and magnetic stripes. This evidence, however, was also used to support the theory of continental drift. Molten materials. He described that the molten magma from the mantle arose due to the convection currents in the interior of the Earth. The convection current was due to the radioactive energy from the Earth's core that makes the materials in the lower mantle to become warm, less dense, and rise. The flow of the materials goes through the upper mantle and leaks through the plates of the crust. This makes the temperature near the mid-oceanic ridges become warm and the other surface to become cold, because as the molten magma continues to push upward, it moves the rocks away from the ridge. Seafloor drilling. The seafloor drilling system led to the evidence that supports the seafloor spreading hypothesis. The samples obtained from the seafloor drill reveals that the rocks away from the mid-oceanic ridges were relatively older than the rocks near to it. The old rocks were also denser and thicker compared to the thinner and less dense rocks in the mid-oceanic ridge. This means that the magma that leaks from the ridges pushes the old rocks. As they increasingly become distant, they are more likely to become older, denser, and thicker. On the other hand, the newest, thinnest crust is located near the center of mid-oceanic ridge, the actual site of seafloor spreading. It is same as we discussed earlier, that when the magma comes out from it, it cools down, and near the ridge there will be young rocks, and apart from that, the old rocks which are heavier and denser and thicker. Radiometric age dating and fossil ages. By the use of radiometric age dating and studying fossil ages, it was also found that rocks of seafloor age is younger than the continental rocks. When we did the radiometric dating, we found that the rocks in the ocean are younger and new as compared to the rocks that are found on the continental crust. It is believed that the continental rocks formed 3 billion years ago. However, the sediment samples from the ocean floor are found to be not exceeding 200 million years old. It is clear evidence that the formation of rocks in the seafloor is due to the reabsorption of the materials. Magnetic stripes. In the 20th century, the magnetic survey was conducted in the mid-oceanic ridge in order to investigate the evidence of seafloor spreading. And by using the magnetometer, the magnetic polarity will be shown through a time scale that contains the normal and reverse polarity. And it was concluded that the seafloor is composed of different rocks according to the ages, and that they were positioned equally in the opposite directions. This reports that there is a constant movement and spreading of rocks on the ocean floor. Magnetic stripping. The volcanic rocks which make the sea floor have magnetism because as they cool down, magnetic minerals within the rock align to the Earth's magnetic field, and the scientists noticed that some rocks were aligned to the positive or the north end of the Earth, and some were aligned to the negative or south end. Also, the ages of the rocks at the ridges were much younger than those found at the subduction zones. You can understand it from the diagram. If we collect rocks from different latitudes, their magnetic direction and inclination will reflect the Earth's magnetic field where they were formed. So when the rock that comes out from the Earth's interior, it will have the magnetic abilities from the minerals, as they will be like similar to the Earth's magnetic field and aligned with the field of Earth's magnetic field. How would this be? These oceanic ridges were actually boundaries with tectonic plates pulling apart This movement of the plates allowed the magma to rise up and harden into the new rock. As the new rock was formed near the ridge, older rocks which formed millions of years ago when the magnetic field was reversed got pushed farther away, resulting into the magnetic stripping. Rising magma assumes the polarity of Earth's geomagnetic field before it solidifies into oceanic crust. At spreading centers, this crust is separated into parallel bands of rock by successive waves of emergent magma. When Earth's geomagnetic field undergoes a reversal, the change in polarity is recorded in the magma, which contributes to the alternating pattern of magnetic stripping on the seafloor. Plate tectonics. Plate tectonics theory is a comprehensive theory which offers explain the various leading features of and tectonic events. For example, mountain building, folding and faulting, continental drift, volcanicity, seismic events, etc. Divergent, convergent, and transform. This means when two tectonic plates are coming together, this is called divergent. When two tectonic plates are moving opposite to each other, these are called divergent, and two tectonic plates are coming towards each other, this is called convergent, and when they slide with each other, this is called transform. We can see this. This is divergent. When two tectonic plates move from each other, this will create trenches. But when two plates come together, this will form mountains, and when transform boundary plate is here. Destructive plate boundaries. Destructive plate boundaries are also known as conjugate plate boundaries or convergent plate boundaries, and are those where two plates collide against each other, and the leading edge of the one plate having relatively higher material override to the other plate, and overridden plate boundary of relatively denser material is subducted or thrust into the upper metal, and thus a part of crust is lost in the metal. This mechanism results into the constant loss of crustal materials. This means when two plate boundaries meet each other, the heavier one will go into the subduction zone, means inside downwards, and the lighter will go upward, and it is called as a destructive plate because it will create the formation of volcanoes. Convergence of continental and oceanic plates. When one continental and the other oceanic plate collide due to the convergence along subduction or Banach zone, the oceanic plate boundary being heavier to the comparatively dense material is subjected below the continental plate boundary, and the sediments deposited on the continental margins are squeezed and folded due to the compressive forces caused by the subduction of oceanic plates. The Rockies and the Andes Mountains are formed due to the subduction of Pacific plate under the American continental plate. These are tectonic plates: North America plate, Caribbean plate, African plate, Indian plate, Arabian plate, Eurasian plate, Philippine plate, Pacific plate. Convergence of two oceanic plates. The collision of two oceanic plates and subduction of boundary of relatively denser material results in the formation of island arcs and festoons. For example, island arcs and festoons formed by the Japanese islands. Convergence of two continental plates. When two convergent plates composed of continental crust collide each other, the continental plate having relatively dense material is subducted under the continental plate having comparatively lighter materials than the former. The resultant crater compression squeezes and folds the sediments deposited on the either side of the continental plate margins and the sediments of the geosynclines lying between the two convergent continental plates, and thus forms gigantic folded mountains, for example the Alps and the Himalayas. Base of the theory: the rigid lithosphere slab or rigid and solid land masses having a thickness of about 100 km composed of Earth's crust and some portion of the upper mantle are technically called a plate. The term plate was first used by Canadian geologist J.T. Wilson in 1965. The whole mechanism of the evolution, nature and motion and resultant reactions of the plates is called plate tectonics. And the constructive plate boundaries. Plate boundaries are also known as divergent plate boundaries. Present zones of divergence along the mid-oceanic ridges and are characterized by continuous addition of materials, as this is constant upwelling of the molten materials, basaltic lavas from the below the mid-oceanic ridges. These basaltic lavas are cooled and solidified and are added to the trailing margins of the divergent plate, and thus new oceanic crust is continuously formed. Perhaps the best known example of divergent boundary is the Mid-Atlantic ridge. So that's all about it. Thank you everyone.